Like, I'm going to see if this actually works. And she did a session on me, and within 3 weeks, 0 medication, 0 steroids, gone. All the symptoms gone.
Have you been diagnosed with MS and you're looking for more answers outside your typical medical system? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Adrienne. I'm a nutritionist and a certified integrative nutritional health coach. And I became interested in holistic health because I reversed my own MS symptoms over 10 years ago. Yes, reversing MS is possible. I'm living proof along with so many others. And I enjoy helping others reverse their symptoms too. Are you ready to learn a few things today? I am. Let's dive in. And don't forget, I'm creating a brand new community this year in April, at the end of April 2026. You can join it if you go to my webpage, nourishyourway.com. You're going to find a button there. It's going to say join the community. If you hit that button, join the community, what's going to be in there? I'm going to have classroom information. I'm going to have a couple of courses. I'm going to have live video group coaching calls. And then I'm going to record them and paste them so you can look at past recordings. You're going to see a calendar and see what events are happening. I'm going to have special guests to come on live to chat with us about healing MS. There's going to be a chat room, kind of like Facebook, but better. It's going to be a community. I'm going to have lots of resources in there to kickstart your health so you can start reversing and healing MS. So join the community. Go to my website, nourishyourway.com, and just hit the button and join, and I'll see you there. Well, hello, everybody. I want to invite a special guest with me today. Her name is Natasha Karab. Did I say that right?
Karab.
Karab. Thank you, Karab. And Natasha and I had a quick conversation before I hit the record button. Natasha healed her multiple sclerosis. This is a part of a series I'm doing, and I found Natasha on a Facebook group, and she has an incredible story, and I can't wait for you to hear it. So thank you for being my guest, Natasha.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
I am just elated that you're here because I like sharing these stories because it gives people hope and it lets people know that they can heal their MS as well. Tell me what happened with you. Tell me what year it was, what symptoms started coming up. So yeah, I'll just let you take the reins.
Okay, so it was 2002 and I went partially blind. And I was at university, and at first I didn't realize that I couldn't see out of most of my eye. It was kind of like somebody done that, and it didn't matter which eye I had open. But then I noticed as I was writing notes off the board, I was doing this a bit like a typewriter, so I could see what I was seeing. And it took me a while to realize that, hold on a minute, I can't see. And I went to my parents, and they took me to the doctor, obviously, and we did an MRI scan, and they found a lesion on my optic nerve, and I was placed in hospital and given steroids. And because it was only one at that point, they weren't quite sure what it was. Like, they hadn't diagnosed me with MS until 2006 when I had another flare-up. And this time my body went numb, and I had like an MS hug and all of the other weird and wonderful symptoms that come with MS. And over time, it got worse. It got worse and worse. It stopped when I was pregnant with my child. And then when he was about 6 months old, I had another huge flare-up. And yeah, it just kept on getting worse until 2017. I was on a life coaching retreat in Turkey, and I had paralysis down my right leg, so I could not walk at all. And one of the beautiful things about Turkey is people are very, very friendly. So I was literally carried around on chairs by waiters, and I got lifts from people on buggies. Like, people would take me places in their car. I got a waiter to drive me around in a wheelchair so I could see the sights and see different things. He would push me around. So people in Turkey are quite lovely when it comes to that. And I convinced the lady, I was staying at a boutique hotel in a Turkish village, and we managed to convince the village doctor, to give me steroids, like without an MRI, without anything, to give me 5 grams of steroids, 1 gram a day. And I didn't get better. And
okay, I've got a question about that. So the
Yeah.
first time that you had steroids with your eye, did that help you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it took about a week or so, and then my eyesight came back.
Okay. And then how old were you when you had your first?
I was 19.
19. Okay.
I was at university studying accounting, of all things, but yeah.
Okay. Okay. So after your second steroid, it did not work.
It did. No, it went back, and then I got better, but there was always a little bit of weakness that happened. Like it wasn't always 100%, but I was busy. I'd gotten married, I had my baby, I had lots of jobs. Like I had a full-time job, a part-time job, a volunteer job, a freelance job. Like I worked quite a bit, and like over time, I eventually started working for myself, doing different things. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I was doing sushi restaurants at the time. So I was a sushi consultant. I would help people open their restaurants, and I was getting progressively worse. Like I was having a lot of problems walking. Even when I didn't have a flare-up, my legs felt like tree trunks, really, really heavy. The MS hug was continuous. I was always lots of brain fog, lots of fatigue. It took a lot to get me up in the morning. I'd have to drag myself to do most things. And I just thought maybe it was a mindset thing. Maybe I, was unhappy in my marriage. So maybe that was it. And that's why I went on this life coaching retreat in 2017, because I wanted to change my life and take control of it and feel better. And when I was there, paralysis down my right side. And I was like, well, I'm not going back. So we're going to have to just work with it. And I didn't go back. I sat out the whole life coaching retreat, and I had a trip booked to Paris afterwards. And I called my friends and I was like, you need to rent me a wheelchair. I'm still coming.
Oh, wow.
I just can't do much. So you need to rent me a wheelchair. And they did. They rented me a wheelchair, picked me up from the hotel, from the airport, literally picked me up. Like they did, because the wheelchair was in the car. So they actually picked me up at the airport. And but I'd taken 5 grams of steroids and it hadn't come back. And when I live in Jordan. So when I got back to Jordan, they gave me another 3 grams. So I had a total of 8 grams. And eventually it came back, but I had an additional symptom, and it was hypersensitivity all down my right side. So I would touch something with my right hand and it would be hot, and I touch it with my left hand and it would be cold. And wearing clothes was very uncomfortable. It felt like all the nerves were on my skin, and it was really, really uncomfortable. And my doctor prescribed a medication and it helped. So I thought I was done. Like I knew if I had a flare up, I took steroids. If I had the hypersensitivity, I took the other medication. And that was my system until in 2018, I was working online one night, something to do with sushi. And I was flipping between work and between Facebook. And on Facebook, a article showed up, and it showed the medication that my doctor was giving me for the hypersensitivity, and it said this kills brain cells and stops the brain from regenerating. And I was in shock, complete shock. Like I felt like the bottom had fallen out of my world, because up until then I thought I had things under control. Steroids, medication, I could do it. I'd been approved for disease modifying drugs, but apparently I'd asked too many questions. I was approved by a government program, and the doctor in charge didn't like me. So my application disappeared.
Oh, wow.
So I
Well, on the
know
other hand, I'm glad you read that about that drug because, doctors don't always tell us what's in that drug or what the side effects are, right?
no. And I remember being completely devastated, and I threw the medication away, and I cried and I prayed and I cried and I prayed. And then about a week later, I saw an advert for a hypnotherapist called Marissa Peer, founder of something called Rapid Transformational Therapy. And she was talking about how your mind controls your body and your mind can control everything. And I watched one of her videos, and I immediately the next day stopped having sugar in my tea, completely just stopped. And I, like, tea addict, drink tons of tea, and that was it. I just stopped, and I haven't touched it to this day. Like, I will not have sugar in my tea. I don't like it anymore, though I couldn't stop before. And my son was young, he was about 7, and I was watching this video and I said, I think she might be able to help me because I've stopped sugar in my tea. And I was asking him, I was like, what do you think? Do you think mommy should sign up and do her course and learn how to be a hypnotherapist under her and become a rapid transformational therapist? Because maybe that will help me get better. And he's like, yes. And then you can help other people too. And to this day, he still tells me, aren't you glad I suggested that you do it? Aren't you glad that you should go ahead? So it is. So he takes full credit for it whenever I mention it. He's like, that was me. That was me. I did.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so tell me how quickly, okay, so after you took her program, were you still having symptoms with MS?
I had a flare up while I was studying.
Okay.
I actually had a flare up while I was studying, and I reached out to one of my colleagues who'd already graduated, and I said, would you do a session on me? Because this is the first time that I'm not going to take any steroids. Like, I'm going to see if this actually works. And she did a session on me, and within 3 weeks, 0 medication, 0 steroids, gone. All the symptoms gone.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you haven't had any flare-ups or symptoms since?
I've had flare-ups.
Okay.
Symptoms since, but I haven't taken any medication for them.
Okay.
And I can heal them faster without the medication and with 0 side effects. So I know now, I understand my body well enough, because I know that we're made up of 4 different parts. This is stuff that I learned afterwards. So we've got our body, which is our nutrition, which is extremely important that we take care of it, because there are certain things that will cause MS symptoms, and it can be anything from mold to parasites to heavy metals to nutrient deficiencies to inflammatory foods. There's so much that goes into the nutrition part of your body. Your body also needs sunshine, extremely important. For a long time ago, they used to they called MS a sunshine deficiency issue. So sunshine is extremely important, because that's what helps you build your vitamin D, right? And it changes your cholesterol into vitamin D, and it regulates your serotonin and your melatonin production. It does so much for your body. Sleep is extremely important, making sure that you're grounded and that your energy is balanced, because we're an electromagnetic being as well. And our hands are electromagnetic, our eyes are electromagnetic, and it all fits together. We're such a complex being body-wise. It's built to heal. Like, the actual body is a machine that is built to heal. We just need to make sure that it's got the right circumstances and situations, and we're not poisoning it, so that it can do what it's meant to do. When we get a cut or a bruise or we break our arm, we expect to heal. We don't think, oh, well, this is me for the rest now, I'm done. We're built to heal. That is how it is. But then I found out that our thoughts make a huge, big difference. Like, if you go through life, like I was telling you earlier, believing I am sick, I am sick, I am sick, you will see the manifestation of that in your life. If you go through life believing that MS was your gift, that placed you in this unique position to learn how to heal it and then inspire other people to heal, then you become that person who is inspiring other people to heal. And you feel good because you're telling them how to do it, and you're living proof that it's possible. I also believe that the other two parts are our heart and our soul. Our heart is our connection to the Creator. Our heart wants us to forgive and live lightly and be love, and all of the wonderful characteristics that our Creator has. We are to embody those. So we are to forgive people and not hold grudges, be kind to people, be kind to animals, be kind to plants, be a good person. And your soul is here to have a fantastic human experience. It's here for this very short amount of time, and time flies really quick. So if you're stuck in an office from 9 to 5 every single day with no window, your soul is not going to be happy, and it's going to communicate with your body like a Ouija board, and it's going to give you all of these different symptoms to try and wake you up and try to push you into the direction of having an amazing, wonderful life. And there's so much fear about, I'll be poor, I won't have enough, there won't be enough, I won't get this, I won't get that, which is all crap. Because you will always be provided for. You were not born to suffer. You were born to worship the Creator and live an amazing life and do good, so that when you're done, you have something good to show for it. You can say, you know what? Yeah, I traveled around the world and I inspired millions of people to heal. And I was a great mom, and I grew tomatoes, and I saved dogs, and I fed cats, and I, did all of these wonderful things. Like, we're meant to be this wonderful human. And illness is just a speed bump. It's just guiding us back to balance, whether it's balance in our body, balance in our mind, balance in our heart, or balance in our soul.
Natasha, I love how you explain that. I couldn't have explained it any better. Oh my gosh. And a couple of things, I'm going to unpack that a little bit, like everything that you said. So one thing I did not really think about, now I know that we're electrical beings, right? And I know our hands and our feet, but I never pinpointed our eyes to be an electric feature. Can you explain that, or maybe share with us how you learned about that?
So because we're an electromagnetic being, sometimes if we're having an MS flare-up, we're stuck. So we might not be able to do the movements that we need to do to move our energy. One of the easiest things you can do is actually grounding, which is to go outside barefoot on the ground, and that will balance you out, because normally we're under the effect of the Earth's electromagnetic umbrella, which is about 200 volts. And when we're barefoot, we can take electrons from the earth, and that will balance out. And that's why even in houses, we have the earth wire, so that it will balance things out. And there are different movements you can make, because we've got radiant circuits, and we also have energy meridians. And as we move, because our hands are electromagnetic, as we do different movements, we move this energy and we help it move along. And one of my great teachers is Donna Eden, who also healed herself from MS using energy medicine. And she's actually got a whole school called Eden Energy Medicine. I think she's based out of Oregon. Brilliant, amazing, fantastic lady. She's in her 80s now. She healed herself when she was in her late 20s, and she's been teaching people this for years.
Wow.
Truly wonderful. But sometimes when we're in the midst of a flare-up, we can't move. So in that case, you sit in front of the mirror and you move the energy with your eyes, and it will move. So you can do the movements with your eyes, visualizing it and seeing it with the mirror, and you will get the same results as you would if you were doing it with your hands.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I've never heard that kind of healing modality explained that way. That's really incredible. Okay, so the other thing that you said, and I say this all the time, is when you have a flare-up or you have a symptom, it's your body talking to you.
Yes.
Right? I love how you explained it.
It's either your soul, your heart, your mind, your body. There's an imbalance, and you've got to figure out where that imbalance is. And once you figure it out, you can fix it. And then once you fix it, you no longer have the symptom. And I think it was Louise Hay. She's got that really cool book, You Can Heal Your Life, or You Can Heal Yourself.
Yes.
And I've noticed that she's pretty spot on with most of the symptoms and the feelings that correlate with them. And if you look into it, like I remember I had this really, really bad toothache once, awful toothache. I couldn't even touch it with my tongue. And one of my biggest fears is a dentist. So I was like praying that I didn't have to go because it was going to be awful. And 2 days into it, I was like, well, let me just check and see what the thought behind it, or what the symptoms, what's causing it. And it was like indecisiveness. So I sat down and I was like, what am I being indecisive about? And it was, I booked a trip to Colombia to go to this an event in Colombia, and I hadn't booked my tickets. And I was still like, maybe I should just refund the event ticket and not go. And I was being really indecisive. And I thought, right, let me just book the ticket. That was it. I made the decision. I booked the ticket. And the next day, nothing. No pain, absolutely nothing. Completely healed. It was like I didn't have it to begin with. I couldn't touch it for 2 days with my tongue. And the next day it was completely gone. Like,
oh my gosh, that's incredible.
And Colombia turned out to be one of the most amazing trips of my life. Like, truly phenomenal. I was in a river in the middle of the rainforest looking for waterfalls with my friends.
Oh, how fun.
It was so good.
Oh,
good.
Okay.
So,
another question for you. So when you figured out that, okay, because you told me earlier you found this hypnotist lady who's a professional who helps people heal with their minds. So you decided to sign up for that.
Yep. I thought, why not? If I can stop drinking sugar in my tea overnight without, it wasn't willpower. I was just indifferent to it. It was like a click in my mind, and I was just like, nah, don't want it, and never looked back. I also accidentally hypnotized myself to stop smoking, because I had 2 stop smoking clients back to back, and I used to smoke shisha a lot. And again, I had these 2 clients back to back, and while I was hypnotizing them, I accidentally hypnotized me. Since 2018, I cannot smoke shisha, cannot touch it. And I used to smoke 1, 2, or 3 shishas a day. Like, I was that addicted to the stuff.
Okay, so right after you decided to take this course, and then you started working and helping other people. So would you say, like, was there like a time where you figured out, okay, I think I'm healed? You know, MS is, you know, in the past. Is there like a time where you thought that to yourself?
Yes, but then the flare-ups still come every now and again. There'll be an imbalance. And it's what your body is used to. So it will go back down the route it's used to. So in 2021, I thought I was doing great. 2021, I was on holiday in Switzerland. It was December. I was there to enjoy winter in Switzerland, and I had a massive flare-up. And it affected my right leg and my right arm. And I was in this little village called Gavel, and all by myself. And I was like, it was over nearly $1,500 just to get an MRI. And in order to do the MRI, then they would consider giving you steroids. And that was like my whole budget for the trip. I was like, I'm not spending it on an MRI.
Sure.
So I contacted the people who own the Airbnb lived next door, and I said, listen, I'm paralyzed, don't freak out, but I'm not going to the doctors, don't freak out, okay, and I'm going to fix it. Trust me, I've got this. I know how to do it, okay, but I need your help. I need you to take me to the supermarket because I need to buy things like green leafy vegetables and blueberries. And they actually ran dream workshops where they teach people lucid dreaming. So they were like, we trust you. We're like, we believe in alternative medicine. We believe in alternative ways of healing. Yeah, sure. We'll take you to the supermarket and you do you, and we'll see how you feel in a week, because I was booked with them for a week. So I got my stuff and I asked them, do you have an energy healer in the village? Just anybody? So, well, we have one. He doesn't speak much English and he usually works with cows. I'm like, that's fine. The cows don't speak English. He'll understand. I just need him to tell me where the block is. Like, I don't know where it is, but just let him come and check. So he came and he was like, yeah, it's up in this area. I'm like, okay, so it's definitely MS. All right. So I know what it is. You know, I picked up some bug or something. It's definitely MS if it's in this area. And so I signed up for a meditation course with Joe Dispenza. I called a friend of mine who's another RTT therapist, and she hypnotized me, and we looked at the thoughts that were creating this. I worked on my nutrition, and I just focused on healing for a week straight, like focused on it. And within a week, I could move my toes and I could move a little bit. And again, this was faster than I had ever healed with medication and 0 side effects. And I moved into the town after that and managed to walk to the train station because I wanted to see Switzerland. I mean, the house was lovely I was staying in and the snow was great. But I'm like, I need to see some of Switzerland. So I got on one of those trains with the big windows and I went off to Lucerne on the train and back again. It was beautiful, really, really beautiful. And a couple of days later, I was able to do 11,000 steps in Zurich. Now, there was a lot of sitting down between those steps. It wasn't continuous. Like, I'd have a couple of steps and sit a bit, but there were steps. Like, that was like I was walking, and I was walking without a cane. I was walking without a walker. I was like taking my time, and it took a while, but I was walking and I was seeing parts of Switzerland, and that's what I really, really wanted. So by the time I got back to Jordan, I was walking. I was fine.
Wow. That's incredible. So I love Joe Dispenza. I talk about him here and there on my podcast, and he's amazing. I mean, he's known worldwide. And in case anybody doesn't know his story, but he has an incredible story too. I mean, anybody can Google him. But real quick, I mean, the story of Joe is he was in a race when he was young, in his 20s or 30s. A car hit him. He ended up on the asphalt, totally shattered his back. And people said that he couldn't, doctors said he couldn't heal unless he had this certain surgery. And they couldn't even give him promises then. But then he healed himself with his mind. Like in 6 months, he was walking. Like it's incredible. Like he just pictured his spine healing itself and growing itself back together. Like we can all do this. It's incredible.
Exactly. And that's what I used to do. Like as I was doing his course, I was visualizing the messages going from my brain to my legs and back, from my brain to my legs and back, from my brain to my fingers and back, from my brain to my fingers and back. And just focusing on it, just seeing it and knowing without a shadow of a doubt that it was going to happen. And I always tell my clients, I'm like, never Google stories of people who have not healed. Always Google stories of these amazing people who have healed, because they are no different than you. Yeah. And we're programming our mind. So we want to make sure that we're programming our mind with something that is beneficial, not programming our mind with crap that's going to sabotage our efforts. Yes. So if somebody else can do it, if I can do it, if you can do it, if Joe Dispenza can do it, if Marissa Peer can do it, if Donna Eden can do it, we can all do it.
All of us. Yes, yes, yes. I want to say hallelujah.
Praise the Lord. He's created an amazing, wonderful machine that is self-healing. Do not listen to the naysayers. Yes. They're trying to peddle some drug on you, or they want you to be miserable because they're miserable.
Yes.
And you know what? If you're trying and you haven't healed yet. And it's going to happen because it is inevitable. Look around, find some other technique, add things together. Like I honestly think that when I was in Switzerland, the combination of the nutrition, of the meditation and Joe Dispenza, of the hypnotherapy, of the energy medicine, of all of these different things together was what made it so quick. And I notice when I do less, it's maybe a little bit slower. When I add more, it's faster. And it's about how you're feeling as well. Like if you're feeling sad and depressed and, despondent, then it's going to take longer. If you get up every day and you're like, I'm going to do it. These things are sent to test us. Never, ever, ever give up hope. If you're listening to this right now, I want to tell anybody who's listening to your podcast right now, if you're listening to this right now, this is your sign not to give up. This is your message from your creator that you are made to heal and you can do it. There's absolutely no reason why you can't. You are no different to everybody else. You are just as loved, just as special, and just as capable.
Natasha, that was so beautiful how you said that. Thank you. And yeah, I think I need to have you back on.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have a way with words. Thank you so much. I also wanted to just touch on how you taught your body to, send messages from your brain to your arm, to your hand, to your legs, right? So that was your way of talking to your body and having it heal itself. I remember when I was diagnosed with MS and I learned that I can heal with my body too. And this is just another way you can do it. I actually laid on my bed and I visualized a kind of a green blue light, because that's what colors represent healing to me. But, another person might have a yellow light or a white light that represents healing. But I would picture this light as I'm laying in bed, and it just took 5 minutes. I pictured this light just starting at my head and spending some time in my brain, right? Because that's where the lesions were, healing that brain, and then going slowly down my body and healing all the numbness that I had, all the fatigue I had, all the brain fog I had, right? Just going down and then healing all my nerves, all the way down to my feet, and then slowly coming back up and then out through my head. That was 5-minute process for me, and it helped. It worked. So, whatever, kind of training or I guess process that you want to use that's going to work for you, make it that way, customize it so that it works for you, right?
Yeah, 100%, because that's all it is. It's the visualization, believing that it's possible and seeing it. Your body is made up of all of these tiny, tiny little cells, and each of them has a little mind of its own. So you might be doing something and not seeing a result, but there are millions and millions of these cells. Maybe 5 are listening. Okay, don't give up, because the next day 10 will listen, and the day after that maybe 15, and maybe the next day you'll have 150 of them on board. So it's like a little world, and you got to convince them all to get on this wavelength, to do this with you.
Yes.
And you just got to keep at it and keep at it and keep at it, and do not give up.
Yes, your body has intelligence, and every little cell in your body, like you're saying, they're alive and they're listening to you.
They are. They're listening. And you know what? Sometimes you got to get rid of the ones that aren't listening. And that's why fasting is fantastic, because when we fast, the body will get rid of those cells that aren't doing good stuff. And then new cells will come, and those cells will be, functioning nicely and doing what they need to do. There are so many ways to heal. So many ways.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love your message. Okay. I want to ask, if people want to find you, you are a hypnotherapist. Yeah. And if people want to work with you, how would they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at the Natasha Q. They can find me on my website, hypnotherapyme.com. I'm on Facebook, Natasha Karyab. I'm on YouTube. I'm everywhere. You'll find me. And I'm the only one in the world with my name. So yeah, if you Google me, you'll also find me.
Okay, well, I'll put your information in the show notes, because I know you're going to give that to me so I can I'll post that.
Yeah.
And so in conclusion,
Okay.
can you give a last positive message to anybody listening to this who needs to have some hope?
Your diagnosis does not define you. It is a speed bump, and you are meant to live an amazing, wonderful, fantastic life. Sometimes God gives us gifts wrapped in sandpaper. They might cut our fingers as we're opening them, but the gift inside is priceless. And I see MS as my gift that was wrapped in sandpaper. And when I opened it, the gift is absolutely priceless. I am not afraid of ever getting sick because I know it's fixable. I'm not afraid when somebody I care about gets sick because I know it's fixable. I get to talk to people all over the world and help them heal. I get to stand on stages and inspire people to heal. I get to talk about healing, and I know that it works. And yeah, we were not meant to be sick. This is just a speed bump, and you've got the rest of your life to live and enjoy and thrive in. And this is your human experience. Make it fantastic, and don't let what somebody else tells you define you. Doctors will choose an umbrella term to explain symptoms that they cannot otherwise explain. Ignore them and just heal yourself and live fantastically and be happy and be good, and make the world a better place by just being in it.
Oh, Natasha, your message makes me want to cry. Thank you so much. Thank you, really.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. And I hope if we can just inspire one person to take control of their health, take control of their life, then we were successful.
Bless you. Bless you, Natasha. Thanks again.
Thank you.